Welcome to Marvel's newest feature film, featuring a Rye Man and the White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Get it?
I get it.
Get it?
I don't think that's what that means.
Okay. But this is actually, this week at Four Horsemen, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yes, right, man. What did I call you?
I don't know. That wasn't the funny part of the joke. Your part was the funny part of the
Very
joke.
good. Gotcha.
What is this week at Four Horsemen?
This week at Four Horsemen is our weekly show to discuss events, sales, promotions, and other nerdy topics.
Yes, we're going to start off this episode with a giveaway, like we do. And we are going to give away this Justice League Flash pop figure. And how can you win this? Be the first one to capture Ron in this store. So starting tomorrow at open, if you find Ron in the store and you catch him, then you get this. You got to be faster than Ron.
Not going to be hard.
Not going to be hard.
I'm not a Pokemon.
Yeah. We also had a pretty cool giveaway last week where we did a comment contest where we asked people to tell us, if you had the powers of the Ant-Man, how would you perform a heist at Four Horsemen Comics? And we had a winner, Mr. Mike Houghton.
Mike Houghton, good
What was
job.
his winning comment?
Mike's comment was, I would sneak into Ron Davis's pocket until he got home. That's
risky.
That is. You don't want to do that. Then sneak into Christine Davis's purse and find out all the Four Horsemen secrets since she holds the power. I'm not going to argue that.
True.
I would then use those secrets to blackmail Kayla Davis into free subscriptions. That would probably work.
I would do that as well.
And then since Seth Davis is the weapon man, I would also shrink down and sabotage his guns. That last part may take a while.
It's a deal breaker.
That is true.
Actually, getting in your pocket would be a deal breaker. I imagine me like bouncing around in there with your cell phone, and then all of a sudden these white stubby fingers covered in Cheeto powder like come around and start feeling around. It's like that part of Toy Story 2. Yeah, anyways, we should move on.
That's good.
All right, so we're moving on to comics. What is our first comic this week?
Sola, number 4.
Yes, so this is a series that a lot of people are talking about from Image Comics that we haven't mentioned on the show yet. It's a fantasy series with a pretty cool story, but we're not going to talk about that. I just wanted to shout out the art. This is beautiful. Is that a purple fox?
I think that is a purple fox.
I'm pretty sure Lewis would like capture that fox.
I wonder what that fox
bring
says.
it home. What?
I wonder what that fox says.
Ding, 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 ding,
All right,
ding, ding,
enough.
Vetoed by Alex.
Another new series we have is Farmhand number 1, and this is about a farmer
This looks really cool.
who grows
Body parts, right?
body parts.
Yeah.
He grows body parts
That's
and he
great.
sells them, and he makes all of the money. And apparently you have to water your hands really well, or else they'll get kind of funky green. Or maybe they start green and when they're ready to blossom, they turn a more natural skin color.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Do you pick the hands or do they pick you? Moving on.
I mean, you got to prod them around a little bit, or else they'll become idle hands. But also new from DC Comics this week, we have issue 50 of The Flash with a beautiful
really
variant
cool.
cover. Yeah, isn't that great?
That looks like a transporter accident.
It's That's my favorite part from the first Star Trek movie. It's so bad though. The worst part is I didn't realize till I saw it a couple times. You meet that Vulcan right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
I didn't
like
realize that
passing
the
by.
first time. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And Jim's like, report to me on the Enterprise. And it's like,
Squish.
yeah. But this is the finale issue of the Flash War. This features Wally West and Barry Allen. So
Very good.
it's pretty cool. We have another issue 50 from DC this week
Wonder Woman, number 50.
with another beautiful cover. I like this one a lot.
That's pretty cool.
Is that a cape? Is that hair?
At first I thought it was her hair, but that's obviously a cape,
Yeah,
I think.
maybe it was a gift from Goddess Hera.
I was going to say that's Spawn's cave.
The Spawn's Cave, yeah. Mm. Maybe it's the witching cloak from Fable. I don't know.
Zolomon Hunter?
Zolomon Hunter. I don't know.
Blaine says Zolomon Hunter.
Blaine Zolomon Hunter. Okay, cool. And then
Cape.
And then from Marvel, we also have Peter Parker is back with an all-new run of The Amazing Spider-Man. It seems like Peter Parker never really left.
No.
But
no. He's getting to be like Wolverine.
He is. I mean, well, I guess he did die that one time in Ultimate Spider-Man, but
Yeah, sort of.
he stayed dead though.
But he
In Ultimate, in the Ultimate
Yeah,
universe,
okay.
he did.
He did.
He really did.
He did.
First rule of comic book collecting for financial gain: buy Spider-Man number 1s.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
treat them well.
Yep. Hang on to him.
Yes, for sure. And then also from Star Wars,
Who is that?
that is Tarkin.
That is Tarkin. And
And-
why is he stalking Vader?
These Star Wars covers,
What is going on?
they've been knocking it out of the park with covers recently. That beautiful issue 50 from Star Wars with Leia last week,
yeah.
that was the blue.
Yeah.
And then that awesome one of Akbar where he's holding the bloody stormtrooper
Yep.
helmet. And this issue brings Tarkin and Vader into conflict. And obviously we know both of them walk out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if there's anybody who has the intellectual ability to clash with a Sith Lord,
It's Tarkin.
it's Tarkin.
But somebody's walking away from this with a limp.
That's for sure. And speaking of intellectual ability, we have the final issue of Thrawn.
Look
And
at that.
I didn't realize this until just now, but so this is based off of the novel Thrawn by Tim Zahn.
Son, right?
And the sequel to that comes out in 2 weeks. So they timed the end of this comic miniseries that is a retelling of the first novel to coincide with the release of the sequel.
Oh,
Yes,
Very
very
good.
cool. Like me some blue skin baddies.
and
sure.
he's pretty bad.
He is indeed.
All right, so we have a staff pick.
And we do have a staff pick this week. I want to talk to you guys about one of my favorite new YouTube shows from my favorite YouTube channel, Loading Ready Run. This show is called The Panelists.
Is that the same guys that did
Corpline?
Corpline?
Yes. Corpline is actually my favorite thing ever, and we'll probably talk about that on a future episode. But this is a new show.
Okay.
So The Panelist is where they have a panel of 2 teams of 2 people each, and Kathleen in the middle there, or you may know her as...
Isn't she? Oh, she's on Corpline.
Yeah, she is. She's every female character on Corpline. The QWRP arts correspondent, Edith Slump.
Edith Slump.
Do you have anything else for us, Edith?
No. I don't.
But anyway, so basically, viewers submit questions via Twitter, and then they ask these questions on the show, and the first team to answer gets to choose a side, and then the other team has to choose the other side, and they argue it, and Kathleen gives out points. And so a recent question was, good news! You've won $10 million. But that $10 million comes with a stipulation that you have to choose one of these 2 animal nemesis that you will deal with for the rest of their lives. You can either deal with a venomous snail that is immortal,
And slowly crawling towards you.
yes, or an incredibly violent baboon who has the normal lifespan of a baboon. And then they debate.
Well, they've already solved the snail one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure. So they just have it's
That's pretty
super
cool.
funny. Check it out at youtube.com/loadingreadyrun.
Yep.
Laugh all the time. Yes. And speaking of laughs, we're laughing at
Tell me she made it.
Ron and I's hope that Elizabeth Swann was going to beat a freaking Purple
Miss
Lantern.
Swan has fallen.
Yeah, but she
fell
put
behind.
up a fight though.
Yeah? How
Yeah.
close? Was it?
It wasn't that
Not
close.
even-
It wasn't that close. Yeah, but Star Sapphire, we will see her in round number 2 for sure.
That was a no-brainer.
Yeah, who won that comment contest?
Comment contest was Kanjo. Kanjo called Star Sapphire, and this is me, meaning Kanjo, voting for a Lantern. Anyone who knows me knows my disdain for all the Lantern stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm voting Lantern. It must be a sure
I
thing.
actually meant to bleep that in the script, but I forgot.
Beep.
But I'm glad you did that.
Yes.
Yeah. And now, before we show you this week's match, we are talking about 2 characters from the Star Wars and Star Trek franchises, possibly like the
Hi, Andrew.
Star Trek icon,
Yes.
versus an up-and-coming character from Star Wars. And you know me, when we're talking Star Wars versus Star Trek, my first response is, don't make me choose. Then my second response is Star Wars, duh.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'm going Team Spock.
What?
Because it's Spock versus Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah. I think Spock's already called it by his facial expressions.
I think that's about as emotional as he gets. Please.
Yeah,
Please.
that's exactly what he's saying.
Girl, please.
Girl.
Girl. All right, so, but still, Ezra, I'd hesitate to call him a Jedi, but he is a powerful Force user.
Yeah.
How do you think Spock wins this?
Spock is Vulcan. He has a lot of strength, but if Ezra decided to force choke him out, he could still crush his windpipe from, another planet somewhere.
Yeah, but Spock just has to, be like, you look a little tense, Ezra. Let me give you a
little
little
neck rub.
shoulder massage. Oops! He's out. Stab him in the throat.
Blaine,
Moving on.
Blaine says Vulcan Jesus.
Vulcan, are you Vulcan kidding me right now? Blaine, all right, all right, but I expect we will see Spock in round number 2.
Yeah. That's terrible.
It's not, it really isn't. All right, so we are moving on to events this week. We want to give a shout out real quick to everybody who showed up for our M19 and Final Fantasy TCG Opus 6 pre-release events. Thank you. And we have our calendar image up for the week. These are all the events that we have going on. If you need more details on any of these, please go to facebook.com/4horsemencomics and click on the event tab Ron, you have words?
There's so many things going on this week. It's
Are you
we're
pre-released out?
I am almost pre-released out. Look, we keep making the font smaller and smaller on this thing. You're going to need to be Ant-Man to read these things.
That's not how that works. Continuing to talk about Magic 20 Core Set 2019.
They changed the name, which messes up our inventory.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, that comes out this Friday, and of course that means it's draft weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 2 and 6 p.m. $10 drafts.
Yep.
Don't get $10 drafts every week at any store.
It's gonna be great
for sure. And what else do we have going on?
What else we got going on? That's a good question.
It would be under M19 draft.
We have a Dice Masters. I love the idea of this. A bad team battle. So Sunday at 2.
The bad team battle.
It's $3 to get in. Bring your worst team. There's some event page or some event restrictions on the event page, so check it out.
Yes, for sure.
Bring your worst team.
And then bring your worst team.
Yeah.
And there are provisions so that somebody just can't show up with a bad team. Check out the event page for more details. And then we also have another pre-release. We have the Dragon of the Ball Super TCG card game Colossal War pre-release.
It's really great.
That is this Saturday at 2 p.m.
Is this Saturday at 2. It's going to be a $5 entry. Everybody that comes in is going to get a Colossal Warfare pack. Other prizes to be determined based on participation.
Yeah, and Ron, you've made a lot of promotional images throughout the years via Photoshop, and I know all you did was throw a logo on this one image, but it looks and you the pre-release text, but it looks really good.
I actually had the Dragon Ball, the Colossal Super, and pre-release, and the Horsemen.
It looks great. Good job.
Well, thank you.
Good job, Ron. All right, and then another pre-release this week. What do we have going on this Wednesday?
Wait, another one?
Yes.
Tomorrow
night.
HeroClix Batman, the animated series pre-release. There has been a lot of talk about this one. We don't have a whole lot of product for this, so please come out early, get signed up. It's Wednesday at 6, tomorrow at 6. Entry is $25, and it is a 2-pack seal.
When is WizKids going to do an HeroClix expansion for Star Trek the animated series?
I'd probably buy that. I like the orange dude with like the 4 arms, or did he have 3 arms?
He had 4, I think.
He had 4?
Yeah, he replaced Chekhov.
Yeah,
because Chekhov was Walter Koenig was the only member of the original
cast.
I was
like, no.
Did you know that they weren't going to have George Takei or Nichelle Nichols on that show, and Leonard Nimoy threatened to walk if they didn't bring them on?
Really?
Yeah. And he was legit serious. I will not do this show. You will do it without Spock or recast me if you don't get Nichelle and George on this show.
What? Why did
I was always very loyal to Leonard.
Why didn't he hold the same line for Chekhov?
Would you?
Nuclear vessels.
This was before Star Trek 4.
Okay,
so before he was epitomized with his line that I'm sure he's so tired of.
Yeah, Caleb says it best. Nimoy is a boss.
Nimoy
was a boss.
All right, and then we also have some more HeroClix events going on. Finally, one of our first 2 big HeroClix events of the summer is this weekend. This Saturday at 11 a.m. we are having the HeroClix 2018 WizKids Open. It is a $40 entry fee. It's 300 points sealed, multi-round Swiss event, followed by a single elimination cut. The winner will qualify for the Nationals tournament. And of course, we're going to have side events. These events are always really big. Yeah. Super excited.
That's going to be a big deal.
Yes, and it's not our only one this summer. We have another one coming up.
We do. Is that the week next week?
Yes.
Week after this one.
Yes, it is.
On July 22nd at 11 o'clock a.m., that's when registration is going to start. It is a $25 entry. This is the 2018 ROC HeroClix West Virginia State Championship. You could be the
West Virginia!
Different game. It is also a 300-point modern multi-round Swiss, followed by single elimination cut. Winner's going to get a bye into the ROC Cup in Atlanta,
where all films are now made.
Yes, all the good ones anyway.
You sit through a lot of credits at movies?
Yeah. All of them.
How many of them say filmed in Georgia?
Yeah, thank you, Georgia's got the Georgia piece.
I know, every movie these days.
They must get super discounts or kickbacks or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure the case there.
Lots of side events.
Thank you, Georgia. Good for something, finally.
You like peaches?
Yeah.
I don't like peaches.
Okay.
Sorry, George.
Who's your favorite almond brother?
Greg.
Greg?
Greg.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know any almond brothers.
You're lying.
I don't.
Okay.
Cashews, though.
That's it for events. Let's move on to my favorite segment.
And my favorite segment.
This week
in Star Wars.
Where StarWars.com did their own top 10. So we're going to combine This Week in Star Wars with top 10s.
Wait, that cover holds special place in my heart.
Go ahead.
When that came out, there was
You bought 2,000 of them.
I did. I bought 2,000. I'm still burning those for heat. I'm not burning them. I like them too much.
No, but there are stacks of them
there are.
downstairs.
I give those away a lot.
Yeah, if you want a free issue of Star Wars
Number
number
one.
one,
I got lots.
2015, yeah, you can bring that. So StarWars.com
Yeah.
released their top 10 moments in Star Wars Marvel Comics history. So we're going to actually give away their top 10. And then next week, I'm going to make my own top 10 moments in Star Wars Marvel Comics history.
Very cool.
So it's going to be very cool. And some of these I agree with. Some of them I think are a little questionable. And some of them I think are just maybe honorable mentions at best.
All right.
But number 10, it is from the Chewbacca miniseries, and it is simply Chewbacca chilling out in the flowers.
It looks like American Beauty with Chewbacca.
So, so are we going to change the name to Spacey Wars? Are there explosions in Spacey? Ooh,
No one
ooh,
can hear
moon
you.
on- Nobody can hear you. So
Stop us.
this one is an
Too
interesting.
late.
Yeah.
This one is number 10
All
is
right,
an
let's-
interesting one because actually right after the scene, they do a really interesting reveal about Chewbacca, and it's weird that they didn't pick that.
Mhm.
But maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
And number 9 from Kanan, the last Padawan series. This is the moment where Caleb Doom, who is Kanan Jarrus
Okay.
from Star Wars Rebels, he survives Order 66 as a Padawan, goes on the run, and he decides that in order to survive under the Galactic Empire, he has to hide the fact that he was ever a Jedi. And this is him cutting off his Padawan braid,
Yep.
cutting off his hair, taking apart his lightsaber, hiding it. This was a really good pick. It was a really powerful moment in that series.
Oh,
and,
man.
And that book was really good. I highly recommend it. Although it had a very short run. Yeah. And then number 8, we had. Oh, by the way, there are going to be spoilers in these. So if you're not caught up on Star Wars comics,
Is Spock in that torpedo tube?
no. The guy in that torpedo tube is La'ulo, who was a rebel pilot who flew for the Rebel Alliance at the Battle of Endor, was a friend of Poe Dameron's parents, and became like Poe Dameron's mentor.
Oh.
And in the Poe Dameron series, he dies, and this is just this really beautiful moment where Leia is kind of reflecting on the death of like one particular pilot. But as the story kind of unfolds, she's kind of reflecting on all of the death that has happened in her life.
Right.
And of course, this is pre-Force Awakens, so this is pre-Han, pre-Luke,
Right.
and just how her life has just been sorrow and death and destruction, and it's deep.
Very cool.
Yes. But moving on to number 7.
Actually, this is one of my favorites.
So this is from Vader Down, which is the Star Wars Darth Vader crossover, where basically Darth Vader crash lands on this planet, and the Rebel Alliance knows he's there, and they drop everybody.
They send everyone.
At the panel before this, they say, "Stop! You're surrounded!" And he has this really famous line where he says, "The only thing I'm surrounded by is death."
dead men.
Yeah,
And
dead men. He kills them all.
Everyone dies.
Oh, it's so great. It really.
It is very new Vader, I guess.
Yes. And then number 6, also, this is from the New Vader series from 2015, which picks up right at the end of Revenge of the Sith. This is him meditating right after he got back from Mustafar. So he comes back from Mustafar. He's on the table. He comes off the table. He finds out that Padme's dead, and then this is where he's by himself.
Right.
And this is
That's
his.
why his legs or arms are.
Well, this is his inner view of himself.
Right.
As he's trying to meditate on all this. And there's a lot of, obviously
Wow.
that's his inner rage.
Yeah.
His arms and legs are whited out because he has at this point lost all of his limbs. It's a really great book.
Almost look like Carnage.
Yeah, it does kind of remind me of Carnage. And then number 5, this is from the last issue of the first Lando series.
Lobot.
And this explains Lobot. So the thing with Lobot is, he has that accessory.
Yeah.
And when he got that, the processor unit in that attempted to override his brain and turn him into basically like a mindless robot. And since he got that, he's fighting it off and doing everything he can to remain human. And it comes to this point in the series where in order to save Lando, he has to give into it so that he can use the full powers of his appendage in order to save Lando. And this is where he kind of sacrifices himself and becomes the Lobot that we see in Empire Strikes Back.
Huh.
So it's pretty cool.
It's very nice.
Yes. And iPod. This is one of my favorites. This could have easily been number one. So this is from the Princess Leia miniseries, and it takes place just after Return of the Jedi. And there's this Imperial fallback plan where they use these atmospheric weapons to destroy a lot of certain planets, and one of them was Naboo. And Leia finds out about it, and she goes to warn the Queen of Naboo, and she's following the Queen to that flight deck where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon first met.
Maul, yeah.
Maul. And you see she walks, the doors slide open, and she steps out onto the deck, and she gets, boom, hit with this force awareness of Maul, and she's just shaken.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I got chills the first time I read it. It's really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and
that's a really good visual too.
Yeah, it really is. It's drawn really well. Unfortunately, Star Wars comics don't always have the best art decisions in them, but this one turned out to be pretty cool.
Very cool.
And then for our next one, this is the moment in the main Star Wars run where Vader finds out that Luke, or his son, is alive. Because as you know, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, they faked they faked Padme's baby bump in her funeral. So Anakin was supposed to think that the babies had died, the child had died too.
Right.
And this is where Boba Fett tells him, no.
How did he not just go absolutely berserk and go? Because
he's not Kylo Ren.
Fair point.
But yeah. And then moving on to number 2. This is the moment at the end of the first Vader run. So in the first Darth Vader series, we meet what would be probably the most popular original character from Star Wars Marvel Comics, which is, of course, Dr. Aphra. And she becomes an agent of Vader. And the entire run through this first Darth Vader series, there's this whole thing where, he's going to kill her. You know he's going to kill her. He's going to use her and kill her. And in the last issue, he throws her out an airlock.
Jeez.
Now, of course, we know that she actually survives because she was so popular and they gave her her own book.
Right.
But it's just this awesome moment where it's like, oh, he's going to kill her. He's not going to kill her. And then he picks her up and he tosses her out an airlock. And you're like,
Bye-bye.
Oh, my God, they're going to kill her. And she ends up not dying, but it's really awesome.
That's really cool.
And then number 1, also dealing with Dr. Aphra.
The Kiss.
With Agent Tolvin, who is this very special lady who's this Imperial agent that her and Aphra had been kind of nemesis, but also kind of playfully flirting with each other for all these issues. And she's kind of like the Sherlock to her Moriarty, and they're going back and forth with these mind games. And then, they're making out. Because at this point, they thought they were going to die, and there's this obvious attraction between them. And there's a lot of discussion in Star Wars, everything but the movies, about same-sex couples. But this is the first time that they ever made it so visual. There's in the novels there's lots of same-sex couples, but it's always like, oh yeah, he's gay, we're just mentioning that in passing but this is actually a part of the plot, a part of the story. It's very significant for Star Wars comics and a milestone, and may have been my number 1, but would definitely been on my top 10. So I'm glad that they shouted that out. And also, it's just beautifully drawn. It's I want to make out under gold sparkles.
Almost looks like a wave.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. But that is StarWars.com's top 10 moments in Star Wars comics.
Yep.
Yes, for sure. But now we're moving on to This Week in Movies, where we are discussing the movie that you saw, and you're going to tell us all about it. We're all ears.
I got nothing. I don't know that I saw this one. I know.
I don't. What bugs me isn't that you didn't see it.
You said ant. And you said bug.
What bugs me isn't that you didn't see it. It's that you can't tell me for sure that you didn't see it.
Because I just recently saw Ant-Man, and I might be mixing the two up, but I don't think so. Because Thomas the Tank.
I really no. You didn't see this movie.
Yeah.
Movie was great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. I loved the first one. The only real complaint that I could come up with the first one is they didn't utilize Hope Van Dyne very well, because she's the one who should lead this heist. Why don't they let her do it?
Right.
Blah 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 blah. And the whole it's gotta be Scott. But this movie truly is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
This is not just a Paul Rudd movie. This is a Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly movie. She is as important, if not more important, in this movie than he is. She has just as many awesome hero moments, probably more than he does. It's honestly, they kind of turned him into more like her sidekick, and he's kind of the
like the bumbling,
the comic relief character. And I mean, he has his hero moments too.
Yeah,
but she's really impressive in this movie. The special effects are great. The action scenes are great. It's super funny. I laughed the whole way through. Michael Pena is so funny in this movie.
Michael Douglas.
Come on, was great too.
Really?
Yeah,
good.
I have 2 words for you.
Yeah.
Truth serum.
Okay.
You'll see.
There's no such thing.
No. Are you sure you didn't see it? Are you sure you didn't see it?
Maybe I did.
You just quoted the movie.
I did?
Yeah, you
I'm
did.
really good.
Yeah.
Maybe I had too much truth serum.
I don't know. Maybe you did. All right, but we're moving on to our Four Horsemen mailbag, where our question this week is, what would you do with the powers of the Ant-Man?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'll go second. What would you do?
I would eat a lot because I would shrink real small, and that means that
you could like live forever on a cupcake.
I know. Well, but it's just like, I have this issue when I get pizza. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have two slices, and if I talk myself into a third slice, that's fine because years ago I would have eaten 5 or 6 slices, so that's fine. But if I'm this tall, 1 slice, I'm gonna be good. I hope.
See, I'd go the other way. I'd go this tall, eat 1 piece, and get real big, so I get hungry and shrink back down.
You become giant man.
Eating,
yeah.
Just keep.
That wouldn't work because of reasons in the movie.
Yeah.
But you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what I would do with it.
You just told me what you would do with it.
Just eat pizza all day.
I'm up for pizza. You guys want to get pizza?
I'm starving. Let's get some pizza.
Get some pizza. Yeah. Yeah. Do we have a Did You Know for Horsemen?
We do have a Did You Know. So if you are new to Magic and want to check out Friday Night Magic, your first one is going to be on us. Just stop in, say, hey, this is my first F&M. Let me in. Yes,
and we also have a sale this week. We want to spread the love for people playing in our Hero Clicks and Dragon Ball Super card game. So Dragon Ball Super singles will be 20% off, and Hero Clicks sealed product will be 20% off for everybody participating in the events.
Yep.
Yes, but now we're moving on to our social medias. But please do not go away because we have a very, very special post-credit scene for you coming up here. Please like us at facebook.com/4horsemencomics. Follow us on Instagram at 4horsemencomics. Watch all of our YouTube content at youtube.com/c/4horsemencomicsgaming.
You sound like Dark Helmet.
Follow us on Twitter. Lone Star.
Keep firing. Can I say that word?
No.
Okay.
Follow us on Twitter at the 4 Horsemen Comics. Watch all of our streaming content at twitch.tv/4horsemencomics. Only one person would dare to give me the raspberry. And shop our TCG content inventory at shop.tcg players, some stuff, and shop.4horsemencomics.com. And where do we have 3 stores?
We have one in Waynesburg, we have one in Morgantown, and we have one in Clarksburg/Bridgeport.
Yes.
Because I can't tell the two apart.
Yes, and then
there's
soon
an interstate that separates the two.
Which one's which?
Clarksburg's on the east, or on the west, and Bridgeport's on the east.
He's right,
The more you know.
Yeah.
Which way's east?
And soon we'll be opening. We want to take this moment to announce our 4th 4 Horsemen Comics and Gaming that's opening. That's right. It's going to be ran by Alex Yon in Belize. Do you believe? Do you believe that?
Do you believe?
Do you believe?
You gotta get that auto in there.
All right. So we're going to do probably my favorite scene in all of horror history. I need a little water.
All right. Yeah, you gotta limber up for this one. You might.
Do you like Tim Curry or Bill Skarsgård?
Bill's. Yeah. Bill's much more scary than Tim. Tim did not scare me. Sorry.
Yeah, but you were probably like in your 30s when you saw that movie. Right?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No. My generation saw that movie when we were like should not have been watching that movie. So, all right. We're going to go Tim Curry because that's a right answer.
All right.
Remember what I told you before the show?
No.
Hiya, Georgie. What a nice boat. Do you want it back?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
That's what you should have done.
Roll credits. Yes, please.
You look like a nice boy. I bet you have a lot of friends.
3, but my brother is my bestest best.
Where is he?
He's in bed sick.
I bet I can cheer him up. I'll give him a balloon. Do you want a balloon, Georgie?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Pennywise? Yes. Meet Georgie. Georgie, Pennywise. Now we aren't strangers, are we?
What are you doing in the sewer?
A storm blew me away. Blew the whole circus. Can you smell the circus, Georgie? There's peanuts, cotton candy, hot dogs, and
Popcorn?
popcorn. Is that your favorite?
Uh-huh.
Mine too. Because they pop, 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 pop.
I should really get
Oh,
going.
without your boat! You don't want to lose it, do you, Georgie? Here, take it. Take it, Georgie! Oh, we gotta take it! We're on a float! Oh, God! Tastes
Hairball.
like old man!